Nigeria's national electric grid has become an unpredictable recurring nightmare, plunging residents and businesses into darkness without warning. In just 1 week, the nation endured multiple collapses, leaving millions powerless and exposing the fragility of a system that should be the backbone of economic growth. Despite billions invested in the power sector, the grid has collapsed about 105 times under the watch of President Bola Tinubu and his predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari. Each collapse represents not only a technical failure, but a deepening of the frustration and despair that millions feel as they watch the lights flicker out again and again. How long can the nation's future withstand this darkness? What does it mean when the national grid is said to have collapsed? A power grid is a network of electrical transmission lines that connect several generating stations to loads spread across a large area. Generator stations, transmission lines and towers, and individual consumer distribution lines comprise a power grid. It is intended to operate within certain limits, known as stability limits, in accordance with voltage, current, and frequency. As a result, whenever these limits are outside of the stability range, the grid's operation becomes unstable and may collapse. National grid is the interconnections of high transmission wires or cables across the country. Grid frequency measures the demand and supply of electricity dispatched to consumers from the GENCOs. Let's say, for example, if the current power generation is 4,000 megawatt hour and people are using all the 4,000 megawatt hour, then supply is equal to demand. This is the perfect condition that is highly unlikely. If we are generating 4,000 megawatt hour and people are using 3,700 megawatt hour, then obviously supply is higher than demand. If we are generating 4,000 megawatt hour and people are trying to use 4,200 megawatt hour, demand is higher than supply. I know you might ask, how can you be generating 4,000 megawatt hour and be trying to use 4,200 megawatt hour? Take for instance, you're using a pass my neighbor generator and you're trying to connect two HVACs with microwave on the generator. The generator will just automatically shut down. That's how it happens too on the national grid. In your houses, if you have a serious electrical fault, the circuit breaker will trip off to shut down the entire supply and protect everyone from potential injury or damages. On the flip side, when demand exceeds supply, the system will equally go off for safety reasons. However, it appears the challenges of the power sector overwhelmed the Buhari administration, which took over from former President Goodluck Jonathan of the People's Democratic Party. Data obtained from different sources, including the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, show that the grid collapsed approximately 93 times during the 8-year rule of Buhari from June 2015 to May 2023. Industry data show that under Buhari, the grid collapsed 3 times in 2015, 28 times in 2016, 24 times in 2017, 13 times in 2018, and 11 times in 2019. The grid frequency appeared to improve from 2020 to 2023 as the grid collapsed 14 times within this period until Buhari vacated office on May 29, 2023. It was observed that the Tinubu administration carried on with the grid collapse cases, with 3 of such incidents occurring between June and December 2023. Nigerians endured more nationwide blackouts on September 14, 2023, when the grid collapsed due to a fire on a major transmission line. On September 20, 2023, Nigeria witnessed another round of widespread blackouts across the country the preceding day as the national power grid collapsed again, making it the 3rd grid collapse in about 5 days during that period. Since January 2024 till date, the grid has collapsed about 9 times. Last week, the grid collapsed 3 times with its attendant blackouts, sparking reactions from Nigerians. As of now, the Tinubu administration has recorded no fewer than 12 collapses in 16 months. So, what can be done? Analysts from the African Energy Council believe that the first step is to optimally generate electricity. To achieve this, the Transmission Company of Nigeria can upgrade and increase transformer capacity. The distribution companies recently improved the network and are willing to take up demand from consumers. This can reduce the issue of load rejections. Second, a better revenue collection method is needed and there needs to be a wider distribution of prepaid meters. Third, the Nigerian lawmakers recently supported the constitutional amendment bill to allow state governments to generate and transmit their own electricity. This presents an opportunity to investors and industries to participate in the Nigerian energy market. Also, the state or businesses can transmit excess supply to the national grid. Microgrid projects could also expand to send excess power to the national grid. Fourth, a modern smart grid would enable data to flow between consumers and electricity retailers. This will enable grid operators to match electricity supply with demand, understand consumer behavior, and plan grid expansion. Finally, the Nigerian government should speed up efforts to decentralize the national grid. This can be through mini-grids driven by renewable energy sources like solar, photovoltaic, and wind turbines. Nigeria's power grid does not need a patch. It needs a whole new outfit. The failures are systemic and quick fixes are not enough. Nigerians are tired of living in uncertainty, never knowing when the lights will go out again. For years we've been left in the dark, literally and figuratively, while billions are poured into a system that seems more fragile than ever. Real change requires honest commitment from both leaders and citizens. We need our policymakers to treat the power sector not as a cash cow for special interests, but as a national lifeline that, if fixed, could turn around our economy. Imagine a Nigeria where businesses don't have to budget for diesel generators, where students can study under consistent lighting, and where the phrase, "the grid has collapsed," becomes a relic of the past. So while the path to reliable electricity seems long and filled with challenges, the first step is clear. Acknowledge the problem, commit to real solutions, and let there be light, finally.